I gotta get a background. I forgot to get my background. It's all right.
Hello, hello. Good evening, scholars. Welcome. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you all are doing well on this voting day for New Jersey. Very excited to have earned my vote sticker. I hope you all are doing well. Go ahead and put in the chat how you're feeling today. You're in the advanced track for business and entrepreneurship. You have made it thus far. This should be week 9. Yep, week 9 in your journey. So, all right, Julian, we're glad you're feeling wonderful. We have a wonderful class for tonight. Tired, good. Okay, Angie. And who put tired? That was Khalil. You're feeling tired? Okay, understandable. And Ying Ying as well. All right, well, by now you know the routine. Go ahead and turn on your cameras. Let's get ready to engage and participate. Go ahead and get settled so we can have a wonderful, engaging class for tonight. So I just wanted to go over a few of the logistics. So there is a workbook that was sent in the email for the advanced class. So this class for tonight is advanced cash flow. So go ahead and find your workbooks. It should also be located in your Google Classroom. I added the link to the workbook yesterday. If you do not have access to the classroom, I'm putting the link in the chat right now. Go ahead and get access to the Google Classroom for Advanced so that way you can follow along with all the materials and resources that are going to be shared. All right. I also wanted to announce that our classes for the advanced run from 6:30 to 8:30. So please make note of that. And then, as you know, our typical routine on Thursdays, we will have an assessment for you to complete. Any questions about anything that I've shared so far, or any questions in general? All right, Angie, Kayil, are you with us? Are you able to turn on your cameras and join us tonight? All right, Angie, thank you so much. Hi, Kyle. So great to see you. Thank you. All right, so let me just make sure I'm all set up here. All right, so as you know, at the beginning of the series, we typically do an assessment just to kind of, gauge where you are. So we are going to follow that same practice. So I'm going to be sharing a Mentimeter link in the chat for you all. So just bear with me so I can get the link for you all to get in there. All right, so go ahead and click on that link to join us there. And then once you get in, go ahead and give me a thumbs up so I know that you're in there. All right, great. I see some thumbs up. Excellent. All right. I'm going back to the beginning of the slides. All right, excellent. Kyle is in there. Thank you, Kyle. All right, we still got some scholars coming in. All right, so I put Mentimeter in the chat. So let me share my screen so we can jump in. Oh, Mr. Leon, would you mind if I share? Thank you. All right, I see some of you are in there already. All right, so your brand voice can go ahead and answer to the best of your ability. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm putting the Mentimeter in the chat again. Let's see, we have how many scholars? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, great. So I see about 7 of you guys in there. So go ahead and respond. All right, and remember, these have no correct answers because this is just a pre-assessment, just to see what you all know. Blank is at the core of the brand voice and image, value, reputation, personality. Excellent. We're going to keep it moving. One of the primary goals of blank communication is to persuade consumers or businesses by changing their perception of a brand, product, or service. So go ahead and answer that to the best of your ability. Hi, Jayla. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hi, Helena. Karen, thank you so much. We hope you can turn your cameras on so we can see you. Hi, Helena. Thanks so much for turning on your cameras and engaging with us today. A brand image should evoke questions, feelings, concerns. Okay, thanks, Karen. Thanks for letting us know. All right, what does the term entrepreneur mindset imply about an individual's approach to business and problem solving? Go ahead and answer to the best of your ability. Excellent. Just going to keep moving forward. Define a growth mindset and provide an example of how it might manifest in an entrepreneur. All right. List 2 of the 4 behavioral style mythology characteristics that are often seen in successful entrepreneurs. All right, welcome back, Karen. Oh, great, your camera's working. Excellent. Thanks so much for rejoining. All right, go ahead, scholars, and answer to the best of your ability. We're going to keep moving forward so we give Mr. Leon adequate time to facilitate his class. All right, how does examining the cognition of entrepreneurs aid in understanding their motivation and approach towards business challenges? Go ahead and answer again to the best of your ability. Hi, Nadia. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Showing my age. Y'all probably don't know that song. All right. How might an entrepreneur with a growth mindset approach failure differently than one with a fixed mindset? Again, you're just answering to the best of your ability. We're doing this pre-assessment to show a growth in knowledge by the end of this track, the advanced track. What is cash flow? So this question is in line with the class that you all are having tonight. Adequate cash flow, we have entrepreneur mindset, we have investing 101. You guys are truly in for a treat for this advanced series. All right, what do you use to measure cash flow? What do you use? So to make note of these questions, make sure you get them answered tonight. If you don't get them answered, that's why Mr. Leon is here. our cash flow expert. He's here with us tonight. All right, excellent. True or false? Investing is an investment in an asset acquired to generate income or appreciate in value. So this is in line with our investment one-on-one class. All right, so there's some different thoughts about this one. What are three types of investments? What are three types of investments? All right, these are coming a little bit slower. Just try your best, do your best. Excellent. Thank you. How often can you get a free credit report? So this is in line with our credit mindfulness class that's going to be offered this series as well with Miss Shakira. You may remember her from Fundamentals of Banking and Fundamentals of Budgeting in our fundamentals track. Oh, not so long ago. What is the first step to improve your credit score? What is the first step to improve your credit score? All right, these are coming in a little bit slow, but no, all good. What is the primary purpose of instructional writing? So this is in line with business writing, which you will also experience for this advanced track. What is the primary purpose of instructional writing? Excellent. Which type of business writing would be best for creating a company annual report? So go ahead and read those options on the bottom and answer to the best of your ability. If you wanted to convince someone to join a new environmental club at school, which writing style would you use? Which writing style would you use? Which type of writing is primarily used in creating contracts and formal agreements? Which type of writing is primarily used in creating contracts and formal agreements? Choose the correct example that matches persuasive writing. So go ahead and look at those options. Choose the correct example that matches persuasive writing. Hiring managers will usually look at a resume for how long before making a decision. So this is your resume building class that you will experience towards the end of this series. So go ahead and answer that to the best of your ability. All right, so we have 10 minutes, 7 seconds, a few days. Excellent. What is not considered a soft skill? What is not considered a soft skill? So this is in line with perfecting communications through presentations, your very last class in this cohort. Your career objectives describe. Your career objectives describe. Yes, resume class too. Education and experience should be listed. So again, this is the resume class as well. Education experience should be listed. Okay, so there's some split answers on this one. So definitely make note. Which selection would you list in work experience? Which selection would you list and work experience. Go ahead and try your best. Pre-test, looking to see what you all know. Which type of brand language would Apple products be considered? Which type of brand language would Apple products be considered? Which type of brand language would the State Farm jingle be? Which type of brand language would the State Farm jingle be? All right, this one was answered already by one person. I think I might have had it on the slide when you all first joined. So developing soft skills can improve your communication skills. Is that true or false? All right, thank you all for answering that. And that is the end of our pre-assessment. So again, without further ado, you are in for a treat tonight with our Professor Leon McCamery. He is our expert on adequate cash flow. Get your pencils ready. I shared the link to the Google Classroom earlier. If you have any questions, go ahead and direct message me in the chat. Have a wonderful class. Please hang on after Ms. Leon concludes so we can distribute the class survey.
Excellent. Hello. Can everyone hear me clearly? Yes. Thumbs up. Excellent. All
Yes.
right. As Ms. Latoya said, my name is Leon McCamery. I am happy to be here to teach the first class of our advanced course, Advanced Cash Flow. Um, First of all, I just want to say I'm extremely proud of all of you. You know, y'all been doing a fantastic job, and looking forward to seeing you advance, and hopefully see you at the gala at the end of the year as well. So, looking forward to just diving in with this. By thumbs up or hands up, you know, who is familiar with cash flow or have heard that term before? Or thumbs down? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right. So let's get into it. All right. So what is cash flow? Cash flow represents the movement of money in and money out of your business. Um, One of the things as a business owner, you want to know what is happening in your business. I work for JP Morgan Chase. I'm a business relationship manager, and I work with business clients all different sizes. And one of the important factors that I pay attention to is how involved the owner is involved in their business. A lot of times they hire bookkeepers or CPAs, and they kind of leave it to them. And the ones that do that are not familiar what's going in the business, what's coming out. And a lot of times it can be fraudulent activity. They can be losses. So it's very important that you are familiar with what is going in your account and also what's coming out. So what would be an example? If anyone can just raise their hand, what would be an example of money coming in? If you can just think on the top of your head, what would be an example? You can type it in the chat or you can come off of mute. What would be an example of money coming in? And Toya, if you see any questions or anybody in the chat, just let me know because I have this
Sure.
mode, okay? Anyone, don't be shy, please. Take a wild guess. Anybody, take a wild guess. All right, there's an answer right now. Let me see what the answer says here. What does that say, Toya? Can you tell me?
It says weekly sales, how much a business makes in a week by selling a certain amount of products.
Yeah. So products. So anything that you sell, you will receive money in your account, right? So that's money coming in. Now, money obviously going out would be money that you're paying. So paying for products, your vendors, if you have vendor payments, all your expenses, that's money that's leaving the account. Okay. So just to give you an example of what cash flow in and cash flow out is. Okay. Cash flow is a measurement of the amount of cash that comes into and out of your business in a particular time. So there's three types. We have operational, investment, and financing. So I want to break this down. I don't want to, go into too much details because it can get a little I don't want to say confusing, but you have this. These are things that people study in order to, to operate fully into a business account. But operational cash flow, basically, that's cash that's generated or used in the core business operations, such as receipts from sales, and also payments to suppliers or employees. So that's operational flow. Okay. Investment cash flow is cash used for generated from investments like purchasing or selling assets or property or equipment or securities. Financing cash flow, cash is received from or is paid to investors and creditors, including issuing shares, borrowing money, or repaying the debt and paying dividends. Excuse me, y'all. Paying dividends. Okay. Um, a wise person said revenue is, is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality. I'm gonna repeat that. A wise person once said that revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality. What do you think that quote is saying? If you were to read that, what comes to your mind? Anyone, take a crack at it. And come on from you. I need somebody to be bold and just take a chance and speak. And I promise this is not to embarrass anybody. It's really more to educate. So whatever you think, I would love to hear what your answer is. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality. Is anyone typing it? Anyone wants to come off of mute and try? Okay, it's a little quiet on this line. So I'll try to explain it to the best of my ability. So revenue is vanity. Does anyone know what vanity means? Someone just typed in the chat.
Yes, and you put no.
No? Okay. Is anyone familiar? Ever heard that word vanity?
Julian put no as well. And then Karen put vanity mirror.
I like that. Vanity mirror. Okay. So I want someone, because you're all in front of your computers, I want you to look up the word vanity, okay, in the dictionary real quick. Anyone, whoever gets it first, just come off of mute and just read the definition of that.
Vanity is defined as excessive pride in or admiration of one's own appearance or achievements, or the quality of being worthless or futile.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen. All right. And I want someone to look up the word sanity. So I want you to keep in mind what vanity means. Vanity means we'll use the short term pride. Okay. What does sanity means?
Sanity means reasonable or sensible behavior or thinking, the ability to think and behave in a way considered to be normal or rational.
Okay. I like that. And then obviously we know what reality means. So if we put it in terms, so revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality. So, revenue gives people a sense of pride based on the value, right? What they have, how much they have. So if I'm a multi-million dollar company, then obviously I walk with a certain level of pride because I'm productive. Um, but it's also defined based on what you consider wealthy or happy. Profit is sanity. What you consider profitable. Some people, when they wake up and if they get one sale, um, they're happy about that. Many people, if they get many, then they're happy about that. So it's really based on how you deem business, and then obviously cash is reality. So without cash, if you're a business owner, if you work, you need cash. So that's the reality, right? That's the only way you can survive, the exchange of cash, the exchange for goods. Okay. So thank you so much. I think that was Julian and Karen. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, not break time yet. No. Let me go back 1 second. So I wanted to dive a little deeper into the cash flow of operational. So I want to give a prime example. Okay. So if you are so company XYZ. All right. This is the name of their and cash that they paid out to their supply about 300,000. And they also paid taxes. So taxes was about 40,000. So if minus 300,000 minus 40,000, what is the total of your operational cash flow? What is left over?
Mr. Leon, you cut out on my end. I don't know if it affected anyone else. Can you say those figures one more time, please?
Sure. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes. All right. So we're trying to determine cash flow. I'm going to give a prime example. So company XYZ, I want you to write the figure of 500,000. Okay, that's cash received from customers, and I want you to minus 300,000. So cash paid out to suppliers and employees. And then I also want you to minus an additional 40,000, which is taxes that are paid. What do you come up with? What is the total sum of that? So again, that's 500,000. You minus 300,000 minus 40,000. What are you left with?
I put it in the chat as well, scholars, if that's helpful. All right, there's some answers in the chat. Angie and Yinging said 160,000.
I want you to put that to the side. Okay. Now, for investment cash flow, you purchase equipment. The equipment is about 50,000. Okay. And you sold old machinery, which is about 10,000. So it's a sell. So I want you to subtract 10,000 from 50,000. What was the total of that?
Angie put 40,000.
Thank you. All right. So next to 40,000, I want you to put a minus sign. Okay. And put that in parentheses. And put that to the side. We're going to come back to that. Lastly, under your financing cash flow, we're talking about investments in stocks. So you have $100,000. I want you to take $100,000 and I want you to minus 30,000. Okay. And we're going to say that's about, we'll put that 30,000. We'll say that's a bank loan, like a repayment. and then minus an additional 20,000. And what do you come up with that? What's your total answer for that?
It'll be 50,000.
Yes, 50,000. All right. So now our operational cash flow is at 60,000. Our investment cash flow is at a minus 40,000. And then our net financing cash flow is at 50,000. So now we want to find out the sum. All right. So you're gonna take the 160 minus 40,000 and then add 50,000. And please tell me what the total is. Again, that's 160 minus 40,000, 160,000 minus 40,000, and you're going to add 50,000. What is your total?
All right, in the chat, Julian and Ying Ying put 170,000.
That is correct. So what I just did with you guys is just a small, it's like a quick example, okay, of how business owners tally their cash flow. And this is what I was saying earlier, how important it is to know what's going in and what's coming out. A lot of times as I won't say we, but as business owners, you can get excited of what you are earning. And sometimes you lose track on what's leaving. And a lot of times there's a lot more expenses because you're trying to stay afloat. Um, One of the things that you want to do when it comes down with monitoring your cash flow, um, you should hire a CPA, right? But if you do not have a CPA, they do have systems. A lot of uh, banks have systems that you can utilize, like calculators and things of that nature. You want to be familiar with what's going in and what's going out of your business. Okay. Angie, are you able to speak?
Yeah.
Tell me something about either the business that you want to own, or if you're looking to work for a company, but what do you want to do for your future?
I definitely wanna have my own company in real estate when I'm older.
Okay. So based on like this the example that I gave, what do you think is necessary for operating a successful real estate company?
Definitely keeping track on how much I earn and how much I lose.
Right. So would you consider buying an additional property, or excuse me, well, if you're a real estate owner, you're going to be buying properties, right? Would you consider that a loss, or is that a gain?
Um, I think it could be both, cause like obviously you lose money, but then you can also fix it up, so you'll gain a lot more with it.
Right. So that's considered like an investment, right? So you
Yeah.
purchase something in hopes to, you know, have a tenant live there, right?
Mhm.
And you begin to earn money. So it's like a temporary sacrifice, but to earn something in the long run, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Julian? What do you want to do business wise, and what do you think would be necessary in regards to cash flow for you?
What I would say, I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, so the business idea you have, like what do you want to do business wise as far as a business owner or as an employee? What do you think would be important for you in regarding to cash based on the example that I just shared?
Okay. I would say, uh, can I like relate to any sort of business aspect?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Like a clinic, for example.
Hmm.
Um, I would say use like see how much. This is from like any sort of. Sorry, this is from any sort of payment for like medicine or like
Yeah, whatever
for.
you think. I mean, you say clinic, so I'm thinking like the number of patients that are coming in, right? How can I differentiate from other clinics? Maybe having an option of more, accepting more type of insurance. Sometimes some clinics don't accept a lot of insurance, medical insurance, right? So maybe kind of stand out in that. Um, that's more money coming in rather than more money coming out, me paying employees and paying for merchandise and equipment, things of that nature. So how can I offset that? So finding unique ways to capture more money rather than, more money coming in than more money going out. All right. That's what I would assume with a clinic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And one more, Karen, what about yourself? What do you want to do for business?
You're kind of quiet on my end, but you were saying,
And
what do I want to do, like business wise?
yes, can you hear me? Am I speaking? Is it coming clearly or is it still breaking up?
It breaks up randomly at different times, but we just heard your last question clearly.
Must be
Yeah.
Wi-Fi.
I heard most of it except for like the last part, the last few words.
Sure.
What
So I
is
was
my
saying as far as a business owner or as an employee, based on the example that I gave with cash flow, how important that is to you, or what do you think you would need, in order to be successful in business?
I think what I would need most importantly is like roles slash a strategy. Like without a strategy, you can't really like have any structure.
Hmm.
And roles like really help um give you a foundation so like you can actually start earning revenue because if you don't have any roles and like who's gonna do who and like what's gonna be done.
Right. And that goes back to this saying, right? So cash is realities. And so, at the end of the day, you have to be strategic in capturing those funds. You can, you have business consultants, right? We have, and within banking, they have they call business solution advisors. They can help you with a blueprint, but I think the most important part is when you bring an idea or the concept of your business and you tell them, the product that you're offering or the services that you're providing, it can help kind of create more of a clear picture of what ways that you can stand out. For example, you have Coca-Cola. If you decide to come up with another soda similar to Coca-Cola, it's going to be very difficult because that company is such a colossal company. It's big. But if you develop something, taste wise, a nice catchphrase, and then also have, back end with, proven concept that it works, then you have not that you're going to be bigger than Coca-Cola, but you have you can probably have your own brand that does just as well, and you'll see, cash coming in there. A lot of times people spend a lot of money on advertisement, right? It's like it takes a lot, marketing wise. So you got to figure out how can I offset paying for marketing? How can I offset paying for Google ads and Facebook ads and things of that nature? I had to make sure that I'm selling enough product. Um, and sometimes even I'm giving it at a discounted rate. Sometimes people don't want to do that. Clients feel that they're going to lose, but in reality, it's volume, or quantity over quality. So if you selling or quantity, excuse me, if you're selling more product, it looks better rather than selling one product hoping to make a decent profit, and it takes longer. So that time horizon. So that's good. I want to ask one more. Who else is on here? Let's ask. I'm gonna ask. I think it's Helena. I said it right.
Yes.
Okay, so Helena, if you could come up for me, when it comes down with cash flow, the example that I gave, so operational cash flow, investment cash flow, and financing cash flow, based on your business model and what you're trying to do, what do you think that you need to do in order to be successful in cash flow?
I think one thing you have to make sure that you're doing is have a steady like stream of income. So like there is cash flow, like making sure the people that you're selling to, they're like interested and that you can keep selling your service or product just to make sure that you do have like money coming in.
Hmm. I like that. Yeah. So I think are all y'all familiar with investments? You're going to be talking about that in this advanced course, but anyone familiar with investments or investing? Does anyone invest here, like on Robinhood or any other on a small scale? Yes, no. But investing,
Angie
isn't
put yes, Mr.
what she
Leon.
does. Okay, Angie. So can you come off? Can you come off from mute, Angie?
Yeah.
So when it comes out with investing, like what's something that you're learning? Because it's a good practice learning cash flow. To be honest with you, when you're investing, what is something that you're learning? You don't have to tell us how much you have, but just based on your experience, like what is something that you're learning when it comes out with investing?
When you put like money into something, like it'll grow more in value and you'll get more money throughout time.
Yeah, over time, absolutely. Term that we use. If you're a business owner, I'll make you a prime example. Let's say you're like a tow truck company and you need to buy a truck. There's a term that's called depreciation. Has anyone heard that term before? Depreciation. So depreciation is like you buy something at, let's say, 20,000, and the expected use is like for 5 years. So you have to take that $20,000 that you pay for the truck, you divide that into five, and you can write that off in your expenses. So the value of that truck, which was at, year one, you take away 4,000, now it becomes 16,000. That's where the value of that truck is. And then as the year goes down, or goes, becomes less. So by year one, the value of that truck is not what it was when you originally purchased it. But depreciation helps out with cash flow. One of the questions that Miss Latoya asked was, "What is used to monitor cash flow?" What was the prominent answer? Most people, I think, I said receipts, right? I think that's what I saw as the number one answer. So receipts are used, but the actual term is called a cash flow statement. All right. So that's what you use to monitor your cash flow, and it's more in depth. And so what we're going to talk about after the break is how you articulate it, how you write it down. You have to be is very, intuitive, so you have to be very specific. It can't just be very vague. Okay, I paid for garbage bags, or I paid, it has to be very specific, what came out of my business, what came out, because it's going to help out towards the end of the year to know how profitable you were. And I heard someone mention revenue. You want to know, as far as revenue wise, you know, I sold $1 million in product, but what did I earn? What did I capture towards, at the end of the year? So that's something that's very, very, very important. So that term you're going to hear, depreciation, is something that um, is used. Tax accountants use that. They'll ask you, what do you have? What have you purchased? That's part of your investment, and they can use that as a tax write-off, to offset your expenses as well. So that's less money coming out. Okay. So I want to skip this slide. There's an example here. All right, there we go. So steps to managing cash flow. So you have to stay on top of bookkeeping, as I mentioned before. It's the single best way to understand all financial transactions in your business. And you can't do the rest of the steps without it. So you have to have great bookkeeping skills. So generating cash flow statement, if you have an accountant, they can do this for you. Otherwise, you can use the software or calculate it yourself using spreadsheets. And that's what I was mentioning earlier. Okay. So now I want us to work on this together. Okay. Actually, no. I want to do a breakout room. So can we do a breakout room? We have how many students we have? About eight
Sure.
students?
We have 7, I believe.
Seven? Okay. So I guess we can just do two breakout rooms. We don't have to be too many. So we could do two breakout rooms.
It is 8.
We have 8. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do 4 and 4. We can divide it in two. and we're
Okay.
gonna have them. I want you to pick a team lead, okay? And I want you guys to work on this together. So this is a chart of a cash flow statement, okay? Um, I just want you to look at this. What I'm gonna give you an example of what I want you guys to do. So let's go through this together first, and then we'll do the breakout room, okay? So starting here, the net income is 12,000, okay? I just use the word depreciation. What is depreciation again? Depreciation is?
Mr. Leon, you cut out again. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What is depreciation again? I just mentioned that, so I just want to see if anybody was paying attention. And I apologize. I guess the Wi-Fi is really horrible in my area for whatever reason. So please ask me to repeat if you need me to repeat. But the term depreciation, what does that mean? Again. Wait a couple more seconds. If you don't remember, it's fine. I'll answer. But depreciation is, in the simplest term, is the gradual reduction in the value of an asset over time. All right, due to wear, usage, or age. I'm gonna repeat that. So depreciation is the gradual reduction in the value of an asset over time due to wear, usage, or age. And I already gave you the example as I mentioned with the truck, right? So over time, if you pay for a product, over time, the depreciation, you can use it to offset as an expense. But the value of that truck, as an example, is no longer what it was when you originally purchased it. Okay. So again, the net income is 12,000, depreciation is 3,000. And then it says here, increase in accounts payable is 1,000. So now subtraction from cash, he says you have an increase in accounts receivable. So accounts receivable is what you have to, is what's being paid out, right? What you're receiving, excuse me. So which is 3,000, and then you have an increase in inventory, which is 5,000. So the net cash flow operation is coming out to 8,000. Cash flow from investment, a purchase of equipment is 2,000, and cash flow from financing, which is your notes payable, is 7,000. So the total of the sum comes out to 15,000. So what I want you guys to do, and Toy, if you can type this in the chat just to help me out, okay? I want to give a
Mhm.
prime example. All right. So, and the teams, what you're going to do, we're going to figure out what our overall cash flow is, okay? So, um, one second here. There we go. So it's actually you don't have to type it in, it's right here. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to work in teams, and I want us to figure out, okay, what your cash flow is going to look like. Okay. So it's $5 cost per shirt, $100 for a website that allows you to sell your shirts, $50 a month in advertisement, okay, in advertising, and then it's $200 starting capital raised. So I want you to select a team lead, but I want you to work together. Now, it's a couple things I want you to pay attention to. The word cost, right? And then also what your starting capital is, and then also you're selling t-shirts. Okay, so those are things I want you to pay attention to. So selling t-shirts, cost, and your starting capital. So you know where you need to add or where you need to subtract. Okay. Assume you sell 50 t-shirts a month. What would your cash flow look like? I'm gonna say that again. I don't think you guys heard me. I'm gonna try one more time, okay? Let's assume you sell 50 t-shirts in your first month at $6. What would your cash flow look like? Okay. So Toya, can you just divide them into four?
Yep, we're all set. How long
Oh,
would you like the breakout rooms to be?
so I'm gonna give you guys 10 minutes. So it's 7:22. So 7:32. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. See you soon, guys.
Nadia and Karen, are you able to click on the join button? Oh, I think Karen's in there. Nadia? Nadia, can you put in the chat if you can hear me? Oh, Jayla dropped. I knew we had 9. I saw 9 at one point. Let me assign her to room 2.
Let close this out right here. All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so let's start with the first team. What was the team lead? Please just come off and mute and also share who was part of your team and then and just kind of give me the flow of your answer and the total.
Yep, room 1 was Jaira, Julian, and Kyle. I believe someone else was in the room as well, but they may have dropped off the call. Might have been Karen.
All right, okay.
Yeah, it was Karen.
Okay. Who's the team lead on your team, Jillian?
We didn't really specify, but it was mostly between me and Karen.
Oh, okay. I guess since Karen is not, I guess you can take the lead if you like and kind of give us
Okay.
what you guys worked on.
Okay. So what we calculated from for our first month for $6 each, 50 shirts is 300, and then $5 per shirt. That would leave us left. Well, we still got to think about the month for advertising and the websites that allow us to sell the shirts, and that's negative 150. And the $200 starting capital raised. I had a little question about that, but no one knew really either. We wouldn't count that as our cash flow for the month, or would we? Since it's just one time thing.
So you would calculate that as that's your starting cash.
Okay. So okay. So that would be. Let me add that. Sorry.
Sure.
Um, just 250
So that's your
per
final answer?
company.
Or
Yeah.
okay. So all right. So Toya, can you just notate that 250 for team one?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna go over the answer once the other team finishes. All right. So thank you so much, Julian. Appreciate it. All right, team two or B. I'm not sure if he's doing letters or no.
Yep, so that was Angie, Helena, Jayla, Nadia, and Ying Ying.
Okay. So who's the team lead for that? Anyone there?
I'm gonna be completely honest. With my group, there was nobody in the group really talking, and when I joined back, because I had a disconnection issue, so when I joined back, there wasn't anybody talking, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. So I'm not really 100% sure.
Okay, who's that? I'm sorry, I'm trying to see who's speaking.
Jayla,
Oh, Jayla. Okay. So did Team Two get a chance to work on it at all, or anybody did it individually? All right, I'm gonna assume that's a no. Okay. And guys, if you have your cameras off, we need you guys to put your cameras back on, okay? Because we are back in session. So please put your cameras back on. Okay, so I'm just ask one more time. So for Team Two, were we able to? Did anyone do it at all on Team Two, even if you did it by yourself? I understand there was a connection issue, but if not, all right. So what we'll do, we're gonna work it together. So I believe Julian said that his answer was 250. That was right. That was Julian's.
Yep.
Okay. So I think Karen's trying to get everything. Okay. All right. So let's work it together. All right. So again, starting 1 second here. Let me get back. So the cost of the t-shirts were $5. Okay. So if it's $5, what are we multiplying? So it's 5 times what?
50?
Yeah, so 5 times 50. So, and what was the answer for that? We said $250, right? For that?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. And then $100 for the website. So that's a cost, right? So money that you're paying for is the cost that's there, which is the $5 times the 50, that's 250. Um, Also, the starting capital is 200. We have that's already listed. And they already told us how many shirts we sold. So we sold 50 t-shirts, which is $6 each. So 50 times 6. We'll start off with what we have first, and then what would be $300. Am I correct on that one? Yes, right? So that's 300. Your starting capital is 200. Okay, so that gives you a total of 500. And now we're going to start with our costs. So if you minus what it costs per shirt, so we said it was 250, then you have to subtract $250. Okay. It also costs you $100 for a website. So you got to then minus an additional $100. And then you minus $50 a month for advertisement. So basically that'll be one time charge. This is only for 1 month. So based on the math that I provided, what answer did you get? Do you still get the answer $250? Did we still get the answer $250 left over overall? If you need me to repeat, do you need me to repeat it so to make sure you have the exact figures?
Yes, I think that'll be great, Mr. Leon.
Thank you. All right. So we'll start with the outflow, right? The cash flow outflow. So that's money that's going out, what it costs. And hopefully you can hear me because I know my internet is acting up again right now. I see it saying it's unstable. Can you hear me? All right. So let's start with the cost. So it costs $5 per t-shirt. So we said that it's 50 t-shirts that this business have sold. So that's $250. That's part of the outflow. Okay. The other cost is $100 for the website, and then $50 a month in advertisement. So when you add $250 plus $100 plus $50, what do you get? What's the total of that? So 250 plus 100 plus 50 equals what?
350.
Close. So 250 plus 100 plus 50.
I'm sorry, 400.
Okay. All right. So I want you to put that to the side. Whoever's taking notes. So if that's $400, that is your total outflow, meaning that's leaving the business, right? Your expenses, purchase of product. Okay. Now, your inflow would be so you sold 50 shirts and it told you that it's $6 each. So 50 times 6 is 300. So we have $300 plus you have the starting capital raise, which is 200. That gives you a total of what? $500, right? So if you take now to sum it up, to find out what your net cash flow is overall, you have to now take $500 minus, which is your inflow minus the outflow. And we came up with the sum of $400, which left us now with $100. Okay. Makes sense to you? Exercise?
Mr. Leon, we missed that last
Steve,
phrase there.
I'm not in the parts that was kind of the starting capital raised, right? Okay. The starting capital raise, I understand was maybe it was a little confusing. And I believe that's what Julian said was maybe it was a little, he kind of questioned that. So definitely understand that. So I'm glad that he raised that concern. But that's definitely part of your inflow. So money that's already inside of your bank account. Okay. But the total is $100. Okay. Any questions, any comments, any concerns? Anyone confused with that exercise?
Mr. Leon, I don't think, I think it's, they're just having trouble hearing you because you're breaking up. I know,
Sure.
Ms. Latoya was trying to, tell you, but I don't believe you heard her. So your reception is really choppy, so it's really hard to hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize for that, class. I apologize. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a 5-minute break, Miss Latoya, and we'll return at uh, at 7:50. Okay. I'm trying to get myself to you 7:50 class. All right.
Okay, 750 scholars. All right, welcome back, scholars from break. Go ahead and turn your cameras back on so we can finish out with a bang. We always say we start strong and finish stronger.
Yes. All right. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Hopefully this is a little better. Can you hear me a little better?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely apologize for the Wi-Fi acting up. I want to ask class a quick question. By show of hands or by thumbs up, how many are a little intimidated by this lesson? Just be honest with me. Anyone intimidated by this lesson, Cashflow?
Yeah,
Angie
it kind of
raised
felt
her
like a
hand.
lot of like information.
Say it one time.
It kind of felt like a lot of information.
Okay. Thank you. That's Karen, I believe that was.
Yes, and Angie raised her hand.
Yes, Angie. So you said it's a little intimidating, or is it like an overload of information?
Yeah, it's a lot of information.
Got it. Understood. Yeah. And you know, to be honest with you, class, this is just a summary, right? Again, I tell you, I do this for a living. This is just a summary of what um, business owners has to do on a daily basis. This is like an everyday task for them. Um, so just imagine, the overload of information that I'm providing you, having to do this. Some owners do it 7 days a week, right? Or they meet with their accountant maybe once or twice a week, but they have to provide all this information. So it's a lot of details, but it helps the business. Okay. Um, which leads to, this last couple of points here. Um, let me just go back a little bit here. 1 second. There we go. So we talked about analyzing your cash flow. So you take the information from your cash flow statement and you use it to understand how money is moving through your business. You have to figure out whether you need to increase the cash flow and relying on your credit card or line of credit to make ends meet. So I don't want to go too deep into this, but um, how many are familiar with what a line of credit is and how it is utilized? So I'm going to say probably not. Is anyone familiar? Does anyone has a credit card on this line? Does anyone have a credit card? Okay. So credit card, in a nutshell, is money, digital money that's being given to you by a bank. Um, you pay interest on funds that you utilize, right? So, for example, let's say they give you a credit limit of $1,000. So it's a digital currency that you have. You take that card, just like I think most of you might have like a, ATM card. If you do have bank accounts, and you use your debit card or your Apple Pay or your Google Pay to purchase products. With a credit card, it's money that's being lent to you, and you can utilize it, but at the end of the month or billing cycle, you have to pay it back. Um, you pay it back with interest, or if you pay it in full, you don't pay interest at all. So some cards are built that way where you don't pay interest if you are able to pay the amount in full. So if you buy a pair of sneakers for $100, right? Or let's just say in this situation, you're a business owner and you're purchasing product for your business and it costs you $100. At the end of the month, you are able to pay it back at the end of the month. And why this is important because it gives you an opportunity to free up cash. So think of how normally if you're spending cash out your own account, obviously you see it being deducted and you don't see that money until you get paid again. When you have a credit card, it allows you to have that cash still remaining in your account and you're just using borrowed money. The difference between a credit card and a line of credit, a line of credit is access to capital. So it's actual cash that a financial institution will lend out to you. And you also are paying with that, paying interest on that as well. The differences between a credit card is digital, right? You use a card to swipe. A line of credit, they give you a separate account number and they deposit a certain amount of cash that you will qualify for. So I'm just going to give a random number. Let's say you qualify for $25,000. That's $25,000 that you have an additional access to cash to utilize for expenses. So if you have to pay for payroll to cover payroll, you use a line of credit for payroll. If you have like an immediate expense to purchase a new machine that is going to cost you about maybe 10,000. So instead of using the cash that's in your account, you can tap into the line of credit and you can utilize that capital and then you pay it back with interest over time. So it does come with a cost, it does come at a cost, but you're able to pay it back, at a reasonable time frame. So you can give yourself like, 6 months to pay it back. But the faster you pay it, that's less interest you have to pay. And we're talking about cash flow. That's more money you get to keep in the account. So the longer it takes you to pay for a credit card or a line of credit, that means there's a lot more cash leaving your business rather than it staying in the business. So you always want to pay your debt as fast as possible, but also know that you have the flexibility to utilize it and pay it as you need. So hopefully that's not too much information, but I wanted to make sure I break that down. So, but difference between a credit card and a line of credit. So credit card, digital, you have a card, an actual card you're using to swipe. And then line of credit is cash. Okay. So let's go to point 5. Cut spending where you need to. Overspending cash can result either from covering unnecessary expenses or paying for expenses at a unstrategic time. So cut overspending to increase your cash flow. Okay. You also want to speed up your accounts receivables. Whether you're waiting on an invoice payment from clients or deposits from payment processors, the faster you get money in your pocket, the more cash flow you'll have. So there's times where if you're a business owner, you may offer some of your clients like net 30 days, meaning that you're giving them 30 days to pay for goods that they have purchased from you. Um, let's just say that company is their cash flow is not well, so they're not able to pay you. So now that it goes from being 30 days now going to 60 days. You want to make sure that you have customers that are paying you faster so that you're not depleted out of cash. Okay. So you want to make sure that you have money coming in faster. So you have to find, and I think I heard Karen said it earlier, you got to find strategic ways to attract more clientele so that they can pay for the product that you're offering. That's very, very important. So you might do like flash sales, you might do discounts, you might do BOGOs, whatever you decide you want to do, but you're trying to find ways to have more money coming in. And also, someone mentioned is having multiple streams of income. That's another way of helping with cash flow as well. Okay. Rinse and repeat. Make analyzing your statements a regular part of your back office routine. The more you do it, the better you'll get spotting opportunities to increase your cash flow. So as much as the information that I'm sharing now, and you guys, I'm so glad you guys shared your feedback as far as it's just a lot of material. It becomes easier the more you do it. Think about when you're typing on a typewriter. Excuse me, typewriter. I just showed my age. When you're on a when you're on a laptop, right? And you're typing on the keyboard. When you first started, you're looking at your fingers as you're typing, obviously because you're not familiar with it. But as you do it and you become more comfortable, you develop muscle memory and it becomes easier. So you can actually multitask. You can be, reading notes and typing at the same time, and you don't have to look at your fingers while you're doing it. So business owners are those who work for companies who might be CPAs or things of that nature. You're able to do so. Yes, Toya.
Mr. Leon, would you mind um, walking us through what analyzing statements would look like?
Sure. So it would be, I could go back to the slide that we were looking at. So, for example, this is what we did earlier. This is like a prime example. So you always start off with what you have, like your cash flow from operations. So what you have, you always start with that, and then you want to then migrate down to your additional cash. So things that you already have paid out, your accounts payables, you want to divvy out that, and then this is in your operational flow. So you always start with your operational flow, and then from operational flow, you go down to your investment, and then from investment, you go to your financing, and then it tallies up what your overall net cash flow is. So this is what you do. You're doing this on a daily basis, and you make your accountant's job very easy if you have great bookkeeping skills. So some people hire bookkeepers, and again, you have business owners that do it themselves. So you have QuickBooks that people like to utilize, or Intuit. There's different types of softwares that you can utilize where you're not having to handwrite everything or having to have a lot of paper. You can utilize software, and it does it for you on a daily basis. I have a client myself, as I told you, I work for JP Morgan. They do everything. They own a restaurant, a quick service restaurant, Mediterranean food down on 17th Street. And at the end of the day, they have about maybe 7 different kiosks with their merchant processing where cards are being used to purchase food. I went to his office, he had 3 huge monitors, and each monitor they had an Excel sheet, and they are literally putting in every transaction that's going in, and then on the other monitor is every transaction that's coming out, and on the third monitor is what their projected revenue is going to be, not only for the year, but they do it by weekly, monthly, and then also obviously by the year. So hopefully did I answer your question, Latoya, Miss Latoya?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Now I will say this, class, scholars, excuse me, I'm saying class, but scholars, this part is not the fun part. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not. But it's the most important part, because it's one thing to develop an idea and to be a business owner, or to be an employee of a successful business. But if you're not equipped, and you're not if you don't have those behaviors, then your business is not going to be successful. Again, that quote says cash is reality. We think about want to become rich and be successful, but you have to have good behaviors in place. Um, and the best example I would give is when I was a child, my parents, if I wanted to earn an allowance, I had certain duties that I had to do throughout the week, and also that included my behavior, my studies. So all of that was factored in, which then allowed me to get a certain amount of money for an allowance. Now I'm gonna tell my age, but in 1995, when I was in grade school, like 5th grade, or 94 actually, $20 went a long way. And sometimes $20 lasts me for like 2 weeks, because obviously the cost of living was cheaper, and the cost of snacks was cheaper. But I was learning at a young age how to stretch my money, how to make sure I have more money coming in than more money coming out, right? Um, so just valuable lessons that you learn even at a young age. So you're never too young to learn these things. Okay. I don't think we have time for the game. I'm not sure. Toy, how much time do we have left?
We have about 15 minutes,
So how long does it take the survey to be completed? So I just want
about
to know.
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay. All right. So I want to kind of speed through the game. I think I did enough talking. I want to fast forward to that. So I'm going to get this started for us. Let me know. Can you see the screen here?
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna need everyone's participation with this. All right. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this together. All right. It's a cash flow game. I'm gonna get us started here. So if everyone can put their cameras back on, if your cameras is off, you can put it back on, please. All right. And I'll just make up a random name. So I'm just going to say advanced cash flow team. And we're going to play together. So I'll just use just one. But this is a free game. If you're ever interested in doing this and kind of learning how to develop those skill sets, this is a free game on richdad.com. Okay. And you can sign up and they have a free game, which is called the cash flow game. Okay. So we're going to start right now. So the idea is we're going to find a way to make sure that we stay cash flow positive. If I say cash flow positive, what does that mean? Anyone, real quick, cash flow positive. I'm throwing a term out there, but just take a wild guess. What's cash flow positive? It's extremely quiet today. My goodness.
And now they're warming up. They're trying to get back
No,
into the
it's
groove of
fine.
things.
Fine. It's fine. I don't want this to intimidate them. So
Is
cash
it
flow
that?
positive.
Oh,
Say it again, Karen. I think that's Karen. Say it again.
it was Angie. Is it that
Angie.
the business is like going good and like money's coming in?
Yes. So money's coming in. So you're showing that there's a profit. Okay. So thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So real quick, hopefully we can do this in a couple minutes, but y'all do as much as we can. I'll move this over a little bit here. All right. So funds, we're going to fund a business and an investment school for young capitalists, teaching them the basic business. All right, the basics of business, excuse me. All right. So you're a mechanic, your starting salary is $2,000 and you have a $600 in your savings account. So that means that your starting cash is $670. Okay. So I'm going to select choose. All right. So we're going to roll. It says before you start your turn, it says review your financial statement, which is here. All right. Can you see this clearly? All right. Thank you. All right. So cash flow is 2,000. Okay. Taxes is 360. Your home mortgage is 300. Credit card payment is 60. Car loan is 60. These are all your expenses, right? That's being listed here. And your cash is at $60. So let me click out of this. So we're going to click row. All right. So do we want to donate 10% of your total income to row roll 1 or 2 dice over the next 3 turns? So basically, if you donate 10% of your income is going to be about $200. So do we want to donate or do we want to pass? Anybody? I think somebody wrote in the chat.
Karen put pass, and so did Julian.
Let's pass. Okay. So what time do we have right now? 8:15?
Yes.
All right. All right, class. We're going to stop this because this is a long game. We're not going to be able to complete this. All right, but if you are interested, I'm not sure if Toy put it in the chat, but it's richdad.com. Okay, and it's called Cashflow. It's a free game, so you can learn how to again develop those skill sets. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Latoya to put the survey in the chat. Please, provide your honest feedback. And again, I do apologize for the Wi-Fi. Normally it's not that bad, but I think it's probably where I was at. I'm not sure this latter part if it was a little better. I'm not sure if it was, but I think it's probably where I was sitting at earlier.
Yes, it was much better.
But if I can get like one takeaway, anybody that can share one thing, I know it's a lot of information, but what's one thing that you can take away that you learned from this class? What would it be? I'll just take one answer. It doesn't have to be everybody. Whoever wants to put in the chat, you can put in the chat as well. But it's your one takeaway.
I learned what cash flow is.
Okay. And what does cash flow? What is cash flow to you, Angie?
I wrote down basically what you put on the
It's
on the slide.
mm,
And it's like represents the movement of money in and out of your business and different type of cash flows or operational investment and financing.
yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. I just want to hear like the three types of cash flow. So that's good. Excellent. Okay. As you complete in the survey, just put a thumbs up. Or I think it's you. What's the letter that you asked them to put in, Latoya?
A D.
D. Yeah. So just put D for done. And our next class will be is it Thursday?
Yes, our next class will be on Thursday from 6:30 to 8:30, and that will be with Miss Robinson on marketing and branding. All right, so stay near your emails, be sure to check them, read everything. The schedule is always going to be emailed to you, and you'll know exactly where you need to be and what time you need to be there. All right, Mr. Leon, while I have the scholars on, I wanted to ask if you would mind. There's some surveys coming in. We have 4 surveys, well, actually 6 submitted so far.
Sure.
But I wanted to just go over scholars with you, everything that was emailed and shared. Is that okay, Mr. Leon?
Sure, please. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, so scholars, I want to make sure you have everything you need to be completely successful for our advanced series. So I'm going to share my screen and go over everything you would have received by email. All right, let me just share the schedule. All right, so as you can see, class started today with Mr. Leon, and then as I shared, Miss Tiandra Robinson will be teaching the class on Thursday for marketing and branding. And then please make note that next week, which would be week 10, you have 3 classes that week, all 6:30 to 8:30, Tuesday through Thursday. So you have class on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week, which is week 10. The following week, for week 11, you have class on Tuesday and Thursday. For week 12, which is actually the week that Thanksgiving falls in, if you celebrate Thanksgiving. And so you have 1 class that week, Tuesday, with yours truly. And then we close out on week 13 with your business practice presentation. And then on the 4th, you would do your final presentation. So please make note of that. Again, this will always be in your emails. For you to reference, our gala is December 13th, 2025. You'll hear more about that, but you should have already received notification about it, but we'll definitely give you the full information about that. Of course, that's our graduation gala to celebrate and honor all the hard work you all have done. The other thing I wanted to quickly go over is also you all, of course, you were here with us in our fundamentals. We have the combo, right, of what's expected of you for the end of course project. So you already did the fundamentals. So now we're jumping into the advanced. If you go down to the third page, the advanced end of course requirements are there. So the end of course for the advanced, your end of course projects will be based on what you did in fundamentals. So I should have a copy of all of you all's projects from fundamentals. So now we're building it out. So we're going to take whatever you did in fundamentals and we're going to build on it and make it even bigger. Okay, so the guidelines for your advanced submissions are there. Also for the, so you know, there's a business project. If you did the research, which I don't believe anyone did. I have to check. There might have been one of you that did. So most of you should be submitting, should be doing option B, the business plan. And then the last thing I wanted to share is in addition to you know, building on your fundamentals project, everyone in advance will leave the course having submitted a resume. Okay, so everyone, no matter what you chose in fundamentals or what you're going to do in advance, for your business plan or possibly your research paper, um, everyone will submit a resume. So again, everything I'm sharing with you now is in your email, so you can look at it more in depthly. This, in addition to the workbook that was being shared with you in the chat for advance, would have been added to the Google Classroom. So the Google Classroom's here, your workbook here. I wanted to also kind of walk you through that as well. So you have a fillable workbook for you to utilize. So you just have to find the correct class. So for today, you would have been, and sorry if I'm making anyone dizzy, you would have been on page 13 for sustaining adequate cash flow. So on Thursday, you will be in, just going back up. The order is a little bit different. We reordered the classes for the series, but you would be in marketing and branding, okay, which you can refer to on page 6. So be sure to have your workbooks with you. Be sure that you are fully aware of what the project guidelines are. This will not be the final time you'll hear about it. I just wanted to bring these things to your attention. Any questions about anything I shared? So I shared the course project, the schedule, and the workbook, those 3 things. Okay, so Julian's saying no. Helena, Karen, Ying Ying, Jayla, Angie, Kayil, everyone good? Any questions from your emails you received? Excellent question. So your course project is due on December 4th. Thank you, Ying Ying. Yep, your course project is due on December 4th. So when you do your in-class presentation, your course projects will be due at the same time. So thank you for asking that. That was a great question. Yes, after each of the classes are recorded, the classes will be posted on through our website, which gets uploaded into YouTube. So you'll be able to refer back to the classes if needed. All right. Any questions for Mr. Leon?
Yeah, S.I. Miss Latoya, if
Yeah.
I may,
Sure.
really quickly. Great class tonight, Professor L, Mr. Leon. Class was quite quiet this evening. So I'm hoping that as we proceed and advance on to through the next classes, that you guys will get excited and participate a bit more than you did tonight. And that is extremely important because we still have top scholar and executive board award recipients to identify, right? So that is from the start of the series to the end of the series, your overall performance, participation, engagement, right? Cameras on, asking questions, just being a part of this journey with us, right? So we're not talking at you, we're speaking with you. And it's a dialogue versus us just sort of instructing and you just listening. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand that, right? I know it's a lot of information you all shared that, it was quite a bit of information in one sitting. And that's understood, right? But this is it. This is the advanced block. And we tried to, prepare you all for what was to come. But it's all great information. As Mr. L said, it'll be recorded, so you guys will get that information to kind of watch over again if you have any questions about anything that maybe wasn't clear the first time and you need to just kind of go back and rewatch it. That being said, once again, remember we are looking at who's performed the best, right? Who's come to classes, every single class, or at least the most of them, and who's got their cameras on, who's participating, who's asking questions, who's answering questions. We really value that. And there is a monetary award that goes with that as well that you'll be given at the gala, or awarded at the gala. So make sure you're doing your best to stay engaged, okay? If you have questions, ask the questions. If it's a bit much for you, then express that, and just let's talk through it. But I certainly want to see a bit more from you guys. This was a bit difficult to kind of go through with you guys being as quiet as you were tonight. I don't think I've ever not heard you as much as I've not heard you this evening. So let's get back into the groove, and let's close out strong. All right. Again, top scholar. Remember, we're looking at you, and we will identify that at the end of the series. So just continue going strong. That's all I have, Miss Latoya.
Excellent. Great. Thank you so much, Miss Rosie. And yes, all of those celebrations will happen at our gala. So really hoping for those of you who can join us and be there that you will. And if for some reason you can't, you live far, you're unable to be there, we are planning to live stream it. And we will acknowledge you whether you're there or not. And so we really hope you all could be there. Well, this is the end of our time for tonight, but definitely not the end in general. We will see you all on Thursday, same place, same time, for marketing and branding at 6:30. Go ahead and check your news. We may have a new governor, y'all, so go ahead and stay up to date on everything happening in our great state here of New Jersey. All right, Mr. Lee, I'll turn it back to you for closing remarks.
Yep. Again, thank you everyone for joining in. And again, thank you for the feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And I am, by the way, I'm not sure I introduced myself properly, but I am the husband of Miss Rosie McCamery as well. Okay, so looking forward to seeing you at the gala if you are able to make it. But again, thank you for those who participated. And as my wife said, just want you guys to finish strong. Okay, so have a great night. If there's no questions for me, feel free to log off. If you completed the survey, thank you so much, and we'll see you on Thursday. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
You too. Good night.